Hello everybody, welcome. I'm Zoe Alex, welcome. So basically, in this tarot card reading, this is for Capricorn. This is for August 6th to August 12th of 2025. So basically, this is going to be a very interesting reading. It might make you laugh, it might not. But the way how this is how it's going to be in that way. Because the way how this is, you have to be sincere. You have to be who you are and what's going on. But the way how this is, you have to understand about your abilities from the right and wrong perspective. That's all you can do. But then you have to have your own, the way how it goes, in that way. And you have to understand that the way how this is, you have to believe that everything seems to be fine. But then it's like, how would you do it? How would you be, helpful and everything else, right? So you have to understand of what's going on. So you have to believe it in order to do that in that way, and you have to know exactly how it is and how it's going to be remaining of how it's going to be, right? So you have to understand the way how this is. You have to know exactly how it is in that way, and you have to know exactly how it is in that way. So you have to do exactly what it is in that way, and in the way how this is, right? So the way how it is, you have to understand of what's happening, and that's the way how it goes in that way. And it's the way it seems to be, right? So this is the way how it goes. But the way how this is, for you, Capricorn, as an earth sign, you pay attention to what's going on, right? That's how it goes. So in this oracle card, it says service, or feel good when I can help others. So that's how it goes in that way. When you're using service, you know what's going to be doing. But the way how this is, you have to understand about how you can concept of the behavior of having service, right? So when you're having service, you know what's going to be going on, and that's how it goes, right? So when you have service, the way how it is, that's the way it seems to be. But the way how it goes, you have to understand that when you provide service, you have to provide it what you're looking for, because it's based on that. It's based on adequate on how it seems to be. In that way, you know what to do, but that's how it goes. All right. So that's how it seems to be. So the way how this is, you're going to look at the cards the way how it is in that way, because the way of how it is in that circumstance. So it's going to be very interesting indeed. And after all, this is just the way how it goes, and it's the way of how it's going to be in that way, and this is how it seems to be. So here it is. So in this wonderful reading, the way how this is, you have the Knight of Pentacles upright, because you have trust. You have the way how it goes. The Seven of Cups upright, there's a delusion here. That's the way it seems to be. The Lovers is upright because it represents decisions here. That's the way it goes. The Hierophant is upright because you want to make guidance. That's what you want to do. The Hermit reverse, that means you have, you already have a soulmate, or maybe you don't. But the way how this is, that's how it goes. And then it comes to reverse that there's no romance here, because that's how it's going to be. But there is a way of knowing what to do, and this is how it's going to be. This is the way of how it looks, how you can reignite, of how it seems to be. You know what to do, but this is how it is. Just the way how it goes, right? So this is the way it seems to be in that way, and you have to know exactly how it is. So let me clarify the Hermit card. The Knight of Cups is upright, there's fulfillment. The Taurus reverse, there's no healing. But Ten Cups reverse, there's no completion. But the King of Cups is upright, you want support. Yeah, the way how it goes, that's the way it seems to be. Because you might be dealing with another Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. You could be having fulfillment because you might be dealing with another Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio as well. But the way how this is like, this is the way it seems to be. This is the way of how the term it is, right? This is how it goes. But you have to be confirmed of how everything is. This is how it seems to be. When you do it, that's how it goes in that way, and you know what to do, right? This is the way it seems to be. This is the way of what you get, what you want. But you have to proceed with caution. That's how it goes. What's happening with this Knight of Cups here? The Four of Pentacles is upright because you're looking for money. The Knight of Swords here, there's no trauma. But the Five of Wands is upright, there's chaos. Yeah, because you're not getting along, right? So when you have chaos, it's like you have to believe that everything's going to be fine, but then how would you do it? How would you imply what you're doing in that way? And you have to understand what you're providing. That's how it goes. But there are things that you must learn first in order to do that. That's how it goes. And there is a rebound here. That's how it goes. Whether you're enjoying yourself, but then it's like how you're going to do it. Right? That's how it seems to be. That's the way it seems to be in that way. It's like, alright, I know what to do, but then this is how it goes in that way. What's happening with this Hierophant? The Seven of Swords, Seven of Wands is upright. They're feeling the silence. Justice Reverse, you're not telling the truth. Eight Wands Reverse, there's no speed. The Empress is upright. There's nourishment. Yeah, because you're being nourished. You're being the way how it goes. If you're feeling like you're silent, when you're feeling like everything's not going as planned, it's like, why are you not telling the truth? Why that there's something that was happening? Because the way how this goes, it's like you have no speed, you have nothing. But the way how this is, you're trying to encourage yourself to know what it is in that way, and there is a way how it goes, right? This is like the way how everything is, because you're trying to create your own service, or the way how it is, and that's how it seems to be in that way. What's happening between this Seven of Cups and this Knight of Pentacles? The Star is upright. There's inspiration. Queen of Swords here. There's no independence. Queen of Pentacles here. There's no insecurity, or whatever. Or that's how it goes. The Four of Swords here. There's no rest. The Chariot is upright. There's progress. Yeah, that's how it goes. When you have progress, you pay attention to what you're going to be feeling in that way. It's like, okay, this seems to be fine. Alright, this is how it is. This is how dignity and self-respect is. That's how it goes. It's like, alright, I need to commit to what I'm doing, because that's how it goes. So let's see what's going on between the Four of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Queen of Swords here. The Three of Pentacles here, there's no excitement, but the Ten of Pentacles, there's wealth here. Yeah, because you're paying attention about where your money's going in that way, and you go with the flow. You know what it is, but then it's like, why are you doing it? Why is there something that's happening in that way? And you think that everything seems to be fine, but it's like, no, it's not. You know what it is, but then you're trying to figure out what to get, what you want, what you desire, what you deserve, that's how it goes. And when things to be in that perspective, that's how it goes. What's happening with this Lovers card? The Six of Cups is upright. There's the past. Queen of Wands is reversed. There's no charisma. But the Five of Swords is upright. There's conflict. Yeah, because you're not getting what you want. Because the way how it is. So when you have conflict, it's like you're not appealing what you're doing. It's like, oh well, this is not going to be going so well for me, or how I'm going to do it. Because that's how it goes, right? You have to proceed of what you're doing and how you're going to be acting, because that's how it is in that way. You know what it is, because this is the same as a good result of how it remains. So let's see what's happening. So let me clarify, as in one card between every single card that's in this reading. I'm going to clarify. So I'm going to do one card. So Two of Pentacles, you're unbalanced, right? Everything is unbalancing. What's happening over here? The Sun card readers, there's negativity. Alright? What's happening between this Empress card? The Chariot is upright, there's progress. Alright? What's happening between the Ten of Pentacles here? The Queen of Cups is upright, so there is empathy. What's between the Six of Cups, the Queen of Wands, and the Five of Swords? The Knight of Swords. So there is no drama here. Alright, so this is the way it seems to be in that way, because you have to know exactly how it is. So let me clarify this Two Pentacles here. The Nine of Swords is upright, right? There's you're feeling trauma, and you have the Ten of Cups over. There's completion. Yeah, everything's completed. When you have trauma, it's like there is trauma here. You don't know why it is, but everything is not going as planned. Things are not going as the way it is, the way you hope, the way how you can be sincere. But the way how this is, you're trying to figure out what's going to be happening in that way, and you know what it is in that way. It's like, alright, well, this is going to be happening, but it's not. You're trying to figure out why it keeps happening, because that's how it seems to be in that way. That's how it goes in that way, and you have to go exactly how it is, right? This is the way it seems to be. What's happening with this Sun card here? The Knight of Wands reversed. There's no immaturity. the High Priestess reverse, there's no inner voice, but the Five Swords separate, there's conflict. Yeah, because you're not getting what you want, because you're trying to believe that everything seems to be very very interesting. Because this is not mind control. This is not the way how it goes. But the way how this is, you're trying to experience what you want, what you get, what you desire. And if you provide the service, if you provide what you're looking for, this is based on that, right? It's based on how you're going to do it, as many times as you want, because that's how it seems to be. You know what it is, because you know how it seems to be. It's like, alright, this seems to be very interesting. Alright, this is how it goes, because that's how it seems to be in that way. It's like, alright, but when you don't get along, it's like you're not getting along with Gemini or Aquarius, or you're not getting along with Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, or whatever it is, right? You have to pay attention to what you're going to be doing in that way. What's happening with this Chariot card? The Empress is upright, there's no nourishment. The Queen of Swords reverse, there's no independence. The Death card reverse, there's no endings. The Two of Wands reverse, there's no planning. The Six of Pentacles reverse, there's not being kindness. The Hermit is upright, you want solitude, or you're looking for a soulmate, because that's how it goes. If when Six of Pentacles reverse, you're not having kindness, you're being unkind, you're being unwanted. But the way how this is, you're trying to know exactly what it is in that way, because you're thinking, alright, well, this seems to be very interesting. I know what to do, but it's like, oh, well, I don't like this. I don't want to keep doing it. But the way how this is, you're trying to prove the point of knowing what to do, right? That's why when things to be happening in that way, that's how it goes. What's between with Queen of Cups here? The Justice upright, you're telling the truth. The Page of Wands reverse, there's no invention. The Five of Wands upright, there's chaos. The Fool is upright, there's change. Yeah, because when you have the Justice, you're telling the truth. You know what works, you know how it doesn't. But the way how this is, you know how it is. If you have chaos, it's like, why are you having chaos? That's how it goes. It's like, things are going to be happening in one way or another, and you know what it is, you know how it seems to be, and you know exactly how it is, right? This is how it seems to be, and when you do that, that's how it goes. What's happening with this Knight of Swords here? Magician is upright, you want skill. The Six of Wands is upright, there's celebration. The Three of Wands is upright, there's communication, because you want to communicate. Because the way how this is, you're trying to know exactly how it is, because you're trying to pressure point of what's happening in that way. It's like how it's going to be in that perspective of knowing what to do. This is why that everything has to be great, but then how it's going to be in that perspective. That's all you can do. But then you know what it is in that way, and you're thinking, okay, well, this seems to be very interesting indeed. So let me clarify on the left side, please. So the Temperance is upright, there's healing. The World is upright, there's completion. Alright. Hierophant is upright, there's guidance. The Fool is upright, there's change. And the Tower is upright, there's transformation. So the way how this is, this just seems to be very interesting indeed. So let's see what's going on with this Temperance card. The Hand reverse, there's no restrictions. The Chariot is upright, there's progress. What's also with this Hangman here? Magician is upright, you want skill. Yeah, because when you have the Temperance, you're healing, but then you have skill and you have progress. That's how it goes. When that is very interesting, you know how to accept them on what it is and how you're going to get what you want in that way. You're trying to have a previous of how it's going to be in that way. You're trying to turn things around, but it's like, why are you doing it? Why? Because this is how it is. It's like how it's going to be in that way. Because you're trying to exactly what it's going to be doing in that way. If you're providing a service and you know how it is, you're trying to go with the flow. That's how it seems to be. What's happening with this World card? The World is upright, there's completion. The Moon reverse, there's misrepresentations. The Hermit is upright, is you're looking for solitude. Maybe you're looking for a soulmate. Maybe you want completion. Maybe you want things you're going to be looking at how it is, because everything is all completed. That's how it goes. And when you do it, that's how it seems to be in that way, because you're trying to have a scientific method or something like that. But the way how this is, you're trying to figure out what's going to be in that way, because you need to know about having your own self-control, your own ability from what you want, what you get, what you desire, what you deserve, because that's how it goes in that way. It's like, alright, this seems to be very interesting indeed, and that's how it goes. What's happening with this Hierophant? The reverse, there's no obsessions. The Taurus reverse, there's no healing. The Emperor is upright. There's structure here. Yeah, because you got structure on the way how it is. It's like everything has to be all great, but then you have to know exactly how it is. You're trying to multiply of knowing what to do. You're trying to, show your own companionship, or you have to do exactly what you're told to do, because you have to be stronger. You have to know what it takes, because that's the way it seems to be. It's like, alright, I know what to do. Alright, this is how it seems to be. I know what to do. I got this. But then this is the way how it works in that way, because this seems to be what's happening with this Wheel card. That card reverse, there's no endings. Wheel of Fortune reverse, you're having bad luck. The Judgment reverse, there's no action. The High Priestess reverse, there's no inner voice. But the Sun card reverse, there's negativity. Yeah, because when you have bad luck, it's like, why are you doing it? Why are you having bad luck in that way? Because you're trying to how you can do that in that way. So let's see what's happening with this Sun card here. The High Priest is upright. You're using your voice. Empress reverse, there's no nourishment. Magician reverse, there's no skill. But the Devil is upright, yeah, because there's obsessions, there's violence, there's everything else. You're not trying to proceed what you're doing, but then when you're having bad luck, things are just not happening. That's how it goes. This is not your cup of coffee. This is not your cup of tea. This is not the cup of everything. No. But the way how this is, you're trying to see it and provide what you're looking for, because it's based on that. It's based on how you're going to do it in that way. You're trying to be who you are and be authentic, because that's how it goes. What's happening with this Tower card? The Justice is upright, you're telling the truth. The Fool is upright, there's change. Yeah, because the way how this is, you have to know the basics about what's happening in that way, because you're trying to figure out why are you doing it, why are you processing of what you're going to be doing, because that's how it seems to be. It's like things to be in that perspective, because you're trying to proceed what you're doing in that way. It's like, okay, this just seems to be very interesting indeed, right? So this is how it kind of goes. So you have to know exactly what seems to be in that way, because you're trying to figure out what's going on. So let's see what the universe is saying. I'll go from one card all the way to see what's happening. So the Seven of Pentacles reverse, there's no vision, like there's no career. The Ten of Pentacles reverse, there's no wealth. Interesting. Ace of Cups upright, there's satisfaction. 91 upright, there's immaturity. The Empress is upright, there's nourishment. Alright, so let's see what's going on with this Ten of Pentacles here. Ten of Cups is upright, there's completion. The Five Pentacles reverse, there's no insecurity. Five Pentacles reverse, there's no insecurity. But the Six of Wands upright, there's achievement. Yeah, so when you have completion and achievement, you know how it is, because you're trying to achieve something. You know what's going to be going on. This is how it is. It's like the way how this is, you know how you're going to embrace of how it's going to be, because you know how it is. You're trying to keep everything happening in all at once, because that's how it goes in that way. It's like, alright, I know what to do, but then I'm going to shift shape of how everything is in that way. What's happening with this 10 Pentacles here? The Five of Swords upright, there's conflict, and the Knight, the King of Cups upright, there's support. Yeah, so when you have conflict, when you have support, you're trying to have support because about the conflict, or your conflict about support, whatever it is. But the way how this is, you're trying to proceed what you're doing in that way. You're trying to not to have any conflict with anybody, but the way how this is, if you're trying to do exactly what it is, that's how it goes, right? So you're trying to remain as calm, as cool, as collected as the way how it goes. This is the way it seems to be. When you do that, that's how it goes in that way, because that's how it seems to be. What's happening with this Ace of Cups here? The Nine of Cups upright, there's fulfillment. The Nine of Swords reverse, there's no trauma. Eight of Swords reverse, there's no anxiety. Temperance upright, there's healing. Yeah, because the way how this is, you know that everything's fulfilled. Alright, that's how it goes. But then when you have healing, you know what it takes, because that's the way it seems to be. You're trying to remain as calm, as cool, as collected, because that's how it goes. It's like, alright, I know what to do, but then I need to reveal of how I'm feeling, because that's how it seems to be. It's like, that's just the way how it goes in that way, and you know exactly what it is in that way, right? What's happening with this Knight of Wands here? The Ace of Swords here is there's a misunderstanding. The Six of Pentacles here is there's no kindness. Yeah, exactly. Because you're acting like immaturity. You're acting like you're being immature. Or are you having a misunderstanding? Or are you having no kindness? Because the way how this is like things are not going as planned, right? And when you have no kindness, it's like you're being unkind, you're being uncomfortable, you know, things are not going as planned, you're having a misunderstanding, you know, that's how it goes. And when that's the way it seems to be in that way, because you're trying to understand about the way how it is in that way, right? This is the way it seems to be. So you can be dealing with another Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, you know, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Like, you know how it is in that way. That's how it seems to be in that way. What's happening with this Empress card? The Five of Wands reverse, there's no chaos. The Tower is upright, there's transformation. But the Queen of Wands is upright, there's charisma. Yeah, because that's how it is in that way. Because you're trying to know exactly what it is in that way. Because you're trying to figure out what's happening in that way, right? That's how it goes. What's in the middle of this situation? The Ten of Swords reverse. There's no progress here. Like, there's no conclusions here. Okay, this is what it seems to be. So it's like everything has to be all great, but then how would you do it? How can you emphasize the way of how it is? Because you're trying to figure out what's going to be. So, you know, this is the way it is in that way, because I'm going to progress about what's going on. Because you're going to see the cards what I'm going to reveal in a moment. So I'm going to clarify this Ten of Swords. I'm going to tell you about it. Because I'm going to go from the Ten of Swords to the Six of Wands. So I'm going to clarify that. The Nine of Pentacles is upright, followed by the Eight of Pentacles is upright, followed by the Seven of Pentacles is upright. So it means that when you have the Nine of Pentacles, you're having to be comfortable, right? You're comfortable, you know how it goes, right? This is how it goes. The Eight of Pentacles is like there's more to it of having more comfortable in that way, because you're trying to know what's going to be happening in that way. So everything is like perfection. Everything is going with the flow. And the Seven of Pentacles is upright because you're having your own career, because you know how it is in that way. It's like, okay, everything seems to be fine, but then it's how it is in that way. What's between the Nine of Pentacles and the King of Cups here? Queen of Cups is upright, there's empathy. Nine of Cups is upright, there's romance. And the Nine of Wands is upright, there's I'll say like there is fear in that way, because you're trying to figure out how you can be self-control, you know, how you can self-advertise, whatever it is, like, you know what I mean, right? Because you're trying to figure out what's going to be happening in that way, because there are details, there's lots of things that you must learn first, and this is the way it goes, right? This is the way it seems to be, Capricorn. You know how it goes, but then you pay attention to what's going on in that way. What's between the middle and, let's say, about the Nine of Cups and the Temperance card? So the Ace of Swords here, there's a misunderstanding. The King of Wands here, there's no there's no passion, like there's no how it is. The Knight of Swords reverse, there's no drama, but the Page of Cups is upright, there's loyalty. Yeah, because you want loyalty, because you're trying to satisfy what you're doing in that way. If you want loyalty, you know how it is. You're trying to proceed what you're going to be doing in that perspective. You know, that's how it goes. When things to be processed, you know what it is in that way, because that's how it seems to be. What's happening between this Ace of Swords and the Six of Pentacles? The Four of Wands reverse, there's no, you're not going to a wedding or anything like that. Ten of Swords reverse, there's no conclusions. The Nine of Cups reverse, there's no fulfillment. But the King of Swords is upright, there's knowledge. Yeah, because you're going to take knowledge. When you take knowledge, you know how it goes in that way, right? So let's see what's going on between, I'm going to clarify the Nine of Cups and the Ten of Swords here. The Queen of Wands reversed, there's no charisma, but the two starts to separate. You don't know which direction you're going to take, left or right. So I'm going to clarify that. What's on the left side, please? The Four of Pentacles separate. Yeah, so you want money in that way, and the other side, you have the Judgment reverse. You're not taking action with it, but the Chariot separate. You want progress. Yeah, because that's how it is. Because that's how the opportunity works. Because this seems to be in that way. What's between this Queen of Wands and this Tower? Let's see. The Four of Cups reverse. There's no distraction. The World reverse. There's incompletion. The Seven of Cups reverse. There's no delusion. Page of Swords reverse, there's no education. The Seven of Swords reverse, there's no, you're not feeling deceit. King of Pentacles reverse, there's no prosperity. Three of Pentacles reverse, there's no celebration. Ace of Wands reverse, there's no, new beginnings or anything like that. Two of Pentacles separate gives you're balancing two things at once. The Devil reverse, you're not having obsessions. The Ten of Wands separate, there's all these burdens. But the King of Cups separate, you want support. Yeah, so this is the way it seems to be, alright? This is the way of how it goes. So look at this. Look at this whole entire reading, okay? This is a huge reading, by the way. It's very huge, it's very basic. It's the way how it kind of connects in that way, right? So you're trying to figure out how you can do it in that way, because you're trying to figure out what's going to be happening in that perspective, because this is the way it seems to be. It's like how you're going to commit of how you're feeling. This is based on that. It's based on how you're going to get what you want, but then you have to proceed with what you're doing in that way, right? So let's see what the universe is saying between the middle. Okay, so the Page of Pentacles reverse, there's no prospects. The Three of Swords reverse, there's no heartbreak. Eight of Wands reverse, there's no speed, but the Hangman separate, there's restrictions. So the way how this is, because this is how it goes. So I'm not trying to, make my viewers going to be laughing at this, but let's say, so Capricorn, this is going to be how it is. So once upon a story, you begin to went to a grocery store. You went to the grocery store, and let's say you were restricted about buying alcohol. Let's say about that. So you're going to the grocery store, and let's say your parents or your relatives are telling you, say, do not buy more alcohol. Do not do that. Well, you're being restricted, right? Because you're being restricted because you can't go to aisle 1 or aisle 2 or aisle 3 or aisle 4, whatever it is, right? But you have to have your own service, right? So whether it seems to be very good and bad, you know what it is, right? So it's like, I'm just giving you an example. It's like you're allowed to do whatever you want, but when you have restrictions, you're being restricted about do not drink too much alcohol, do not, go to the grocery store and buy alcohol, whatever it is. But you have to keep watch about how everything is, right? That's how it goes. But this is the way it seems to be. This is why that it is very interesting, because this is just a funny reading, because this is the way it goes. It's the way how it goes in that way, and you have to know what it is. It's like how you can do it in that perspective, but the way how this is like, you have no restrictions about going to a grocery store, going to an aisle and buy alcohol. Like, no. But the way how this is, I'm trying to explain my own point of view for you, is that you pay attention about having your own provided service or involve what you're doing, because that's how it seems to be in that way, right? That's how it goes. But this is the way it seems to be, and this is the way it goes, but you know what I mean, right? So this is the way it seems to be, but overall, you know how it goes, and you have to be restricted to what you're doing, but this is how it goes. So if you find it funny, go ahead, this is how it goes, but you know what it is in that way, right? This is the way it seems to be. So before I let you all go, try to pay attention to what's going on in that way, and you know what it is in that way, because this is the way it seems to be. This is the way of how it goes, right? So this is the way it seems to be, but this is how it goes. So I hope you all like this video. Please get a like, please leave a comment if you want, and this is the way it goes. Thank you so much. Bye for now. Really, thank you, and